Financial stress is a burden that weighs heavily on millions of people, especially during times of economic uncertainty. Whether it's the shock of a sudden job loss, anxiety about dwindling savings, or the nagging worry about what the future holds, financial instability can seep into every aspect of life. It affects not only our wallets, but also our minds, our bodies, and our relationships. Yet while the numbers in our bank accounts matter, the way we perceive and respond to financial challenges can have an even more profound impact on our well-being. Research shows that our emotional response to financial hardship often outweighs the hardship itself. In a study led by Jeffrey and Vari Clark, a professor of social work at the University of North Dakota, it was found that how people felt about a decline in income influenced their emotional well-being far more than the actual financial loss. The perception of the setback, whether it was seen as a catastrophe or a manageable bump in the road, was 20 times more important than the change in dollars and cents. This insight highlights a crucial truth. Our narratives about money, the stories we tell ourselves, shape our ability to weather financial storms. For some, a financial setback is experienced as a temporary hurdle, something to be navigated with resilience and hope. For others, the same setback spirals into intense stress, triggering anxiety, depression, or even physical health problems like high blood pressure or heart issues. The difference lies not in the size of the emergency fund or the number of job offers on the table, but in the mindset and coping strategies people bring to the situation. Of course, money does matter. There's no minimizing the real crisis faced by those who can't afford basic necessities like housing or food. But even in dire circumstances, the way individuals approach the crisis can make things better or worse. As Amanda Clayman, a therapist specializing in financial distress, puts it, money often is an emotional problem presenting itself as a thinking problem. Many people come to her feeling paralyzed by uncertainty, exhausted by the constant churn of worry. The key, she says, is to channel that emotional energy into productive action. One of the first steps after a financial setback, especially job loss, is to acknowledge and process the grief that comes with losing not just income, but also identity. Our jobs are more than just paychecks. They are sources of meaning, purpose, and social connection. Losing a job can feel like losing a part of oneself. Vari Clark's research found that people who struggled to process this loss of identity had a harder time moving forward. Grieving isn't easy, but it's necessary. It allows us to let go of what was and begin crafting a new sense of self. Michelle, a federal worker laid off from her job at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, describes mourning not just her own career, but the mission she believed in. She worried about the work left undone and the people left unprotected. Yet, in the midst of heartbreak, she began to imagine new paths forward, work in other countries, roles in child advocacy, or opportunities in sex education. By focusing on her core values and seeking new ways to serve, she started to rebuild her identity around a larger purpose. Grief can arise in other financial situations as well. Clayman shares her own experience of watching her child's college savings shrink during a market downturn. She describes the pain of letting go of the hope she'd carefully built, the resentment of feeling like she did everything right only to see plans unravel. But facing these feelings head-on, rather than denying or suppressing them, is a constructive step toward acceptance and adaptation. Once the initial shock and grief have been acknowledged, the next step is often to seek out new opportunities. Picking up a side hustle, volunteering, or finding creative ways to use existing skills can provide a sense of agency and purpose. Even if these activities don't immediately replace lost income, they help people stay engaged, connected, and open to new possibilities. Michelle, for example, began teaching classes and exploring other side gigs. These pursuits not only provided some financial relief, but also helped her feel productive and hopeful. Getting out into the community, networking, and reaching out to professional contacts are also powerful strategies. Many job opportunities are discovered through personal connections before they're ever advertised publicly. Brushing up on your resume, practicing interview skills, and staying active in your field can accelerate the process of finding new work. The act of taking steps, however small, toward a solution can help counter feelings of helplessness and despair. Another crucial skill in navigating financial stress is learning to embrace uncertainty. Human beings are hardwired to seek safety and predictability, but life rarely offers guarantees. When faced with threats beyond our control, such as a volatile job market or unpredictable economy, it's natural to crave quick fixes. Sometimes, in our desperation for relief, we turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Overeating, substance use, or endless scrolling through bad news. What we're really seeking is a sense of control and comfort. Clayman recommends setting boundaries around worry. Instead of obsessing over what might happen years down the line, focus on a specific time frame, say the next month or quarter. Give yourself permission not to agonize over distant possibilities. Then enter a phase of inquiry. Gather information, assess resources, and set realistic goals. For someone dealing with debt or a sudden drop in income, this might mean listing all available assets, identifying essential expenses, and making a plan for the immediate future. In the case of job loss, it could involve researching new fields, applying for a set number of jobs, or exploring retraining options. These practical steps help shift the focus from what's uncontrollable to what is within reach. They also build flexibility and resilience, essential qualities for adapting to change. Over time, this approach can transform anxiety into action and uncertainty into opportunity. Amid all these strategies, self-care remains vital. Financial stress can erode physical and mental health, making it harder to think clearly and act effectively. Prioritizing sleep, exercise, and social connection helps maintain the reserves needed to cope with adversity. Even simple routines, regular meals, daily walks, phone calls with friends, can provide a sense of stability and normalcy. Treat your body and mind as precious resources, not dumping grounds for stress. This might mean resisting the urge to isolate, seeking out supportive relationships, or finding healthy outlets for emotion. When the external world feels uncontrollable, focusing on caring for yourself is an act of empowerment. Ultimately, financial crises, while painful, can also be opportunities for growth. They force us to re-examine our values, develop new skills, and build resilience. While it's natural to feel anger or frustration at the suggestion that hardship can be transformative, many people discover strengths they never knew they had in the process of overcoming adversity. By shifting the narrative from victimhood to heroism, from loss to adaptation, we can redefine our relationship with money and with ourselves. In the end, financial stress is not just about dollars and cents. It's about stories, identities, and choices. By acknowledging our feelings, taking practical steps, embracing uncertainty, and caring for ourselves, we can navigate even the toughest financial storms and emerge stronger on the other side.